Hello everybody, it's another little video. And today I want to talk about hats. And as a quick preamble, let's mention drum and bass. Now, I am not a musician, I'm not an expert in anything, right? So I mess about in Ableton Live just for a laugh, right? And I know that D&B is such a, it's such a rich genre, and there's so many different styles of it. And I have been listening to more of it lately, and I must admit I like the old atmospheric stuff that goes back to the 90s. I've been listening to a lot of that lately. So I wanted to try and make a drum and bass track, but I'm afraid it's going to be very much my own, sort of weird rendition. All I can say at this stage is that I've got an appropriate beats per minute. Right, so I've got a work in progress. Now, actually, I'm quite pleased with where it's going. But this is an old iteration of the project, and it's nothing like it is now. But anyway, I've got this beat, you see, I've got this beat. So it's just a, look, it's a four bar loop. And I quite like that snare, I must admit. These are my own homemade snares. Oh, I'm using number 2. Completely synthesized. Anyway, I wanted to talk about hats. Now, I'm just going to duplicate this. Let's solo the hats, right? Right, I'm going to duplicate this so I don't mess it up. So we'll stop that one. And we've got this one now. Now, I've got this shuffle device on it, so it's just playing. My hats, I've got a whole bunch of them. I thought I'd pick out a few hats and decide what to use when I programmed it, right? And actually, I've just got these hats. Okay, so again, let's just solo the hats. So it's a bit of a weird concoction here. In fact, this selection of hats is taken from the Battery 4 set of samples that comes with Native Instruments. I just pulled out those particular. So it's all a bit random, but I'm actually only using like 3, and I've got this weird thing. But here's the thing, right? This is all about how you can just get a bit of improvised shuffle. So if I turn that off and I play these hats now, you simply get the raw hats being played. Sounds completely different. Actually, it's quite a bit of stereo going on there. So that's just a 2-bar loop. So where am I going with this? Right. So I've got this little rack here. I mean, that doesn't sound like drum and bass, does it? Right. So if I have whole, sounds horrible. But this rack here, now what I've got is delay and auto pan, Right. Now let's just, one of the good things is the use of auto pan to introduce some shuffle. And this is great. So if you turn the phase right down and you add some amount. Now, all these things vary, right? I just happen to have 3/16. I've got this shape, so it attenuates some of the signal, right? So have a saw down, or I mean, I think you can do this. No, it's best to have a saw down, right? And then have this shape. Now, if I play it without that to start with, and I add this, tell you what, this. I mean, I could change this. It's probably best to stick with the synchronized notes, but so that's quite a nice shuffle. I quite like that. Well, it's not really a shuffle, is it? Right, stop there for a minute. Collect my thoughts. Let's go back. I think it was 3/16, wasn't it? Let's go back to that. I think I had about this. What was the shape? What was it? It was 27. So yeah, so about 30%, something like that. Right. Okay, so you've got that. Now you can also enhance it by adding delay. And what have I got here? I've got some random delays here. You see. It's as simple as that. I've got some wet feedback and some dry wet, and if you add that, right, so it's quite good, isn't it? Now you could actually sort of tweak these slightly in real time to get yourself a bit of humanised shuffle, I suppose. But I mean, when it sits in the mix, you know, it kind of works. But that in combination with a number of samples here is quite good, I think. Anyway, the only thing is that you've got to remember that the delay kicks in after a brief period, so you can hear that as it starts off. So when you come to render your audio, it's best not to get it from the start. Let it record it and then select a clip after the delay has sort of kicked in, if you know what I mean. Anyway, this works for all kinds of music, of course. But if you want a sort of rudimentary, humanised shuffle, I think this is quite a good way of doing it. Right, okay. Oh, by the way, I didn't invent this. I've seen other people do this. Anyway, cheerio.